Hello listeners, this video discusses The Dark Holds No Terror written by Shashi Deshpande. Shashi Deshpande was born in the year 1938. She is an Indian novelist. She is a recipient of the Sahitya Academy Award and the Padma Shri Award in the year 1990 and 2009. Deshpande's famous works are The Dark Holds No Terror, If I Die Today, Come Up and Be Dead, Roots and Shadows, That Long Silence, A Matter of Time, Small Remedies. She has written children's books, A Summer Adventure, The Hidden Treasure, The Only Witness, The Narayanapur Incident. Her famous memoir is Listen to Me. She has written collected essay, Writing from the Margin and other essays. Let us see the themes involved in this novel, The Dark Holds No Terror. This novel explores and exposes the long smoothed veil of a physique of a female protagonist who is imprisoned within the four walls of domesticity and who is inflicted between tradition and modernity. The women portrayed in the novel disown a ritualistic tradition, bond life in order to explore their true self, and the women are all curious to retain their identity. The protagonist of the novel is Sarita. Sarita is the central character of the story who wants to come out of the patriarchal society. The word dark in the title of the novel seems to be nothingness, that is, the blackness is no more a terror to the protagonist as she tries desperately to find her identity. Her husband is Manohar. The novel is all about the association of Sarita and Manohar. So from these characters, we see the man-woman association within the institution of marriage in the contemporary society of India. The novelist has also discussed many problems related with women, culture, marriage, and tradition. The readers also come across the sensitive concept of Indian bondage between the protagonist, that is Sarita, and her husband Manohar. In the novel, Sarita comprehends that she have no sanctuary in any relationship unless she believes in her own self and accepts the responsibilities of her own life in a bold manner. The novel also holds the theme of gender discrimination. Let us see some gist about the novel. The novel published in the year 1980, and this is the first novel of Shashi Deshpande. Deshpande was awarded Sahitya Academy Award in the year 1920 for her novel That Long Silence, and her novel Shadow Play was shortlisted in the year 2014 for the Hindu Literary Prize. In this novel, we see the inability of a husband to come in terms with his wife's superior social and economic status. Also, the novel explores the trauma of middle-class working women who are trapped in the male-dominated society. We come across the protagonist, also a narrator, named Sarita, who's otherwise called as Saro. She is a successful doctor. The novel starts with a prologue. You are your own refuge. There is no other refuge. This refuge is hard to achieve. The story also opens as Sarita comes to her father's house after 15 years of marriage life. Her father is surprised to see her and he asks her to take rest in the puja room. She understands that in her father's house, she is an unwelcomed guest. The reason why Sarita's father asks her to stay inside the puja room is because in her room, Madhav stays. Madhav is a first-year student of accountancy and a son of a priest. He stays in Sarita's father's house for the past 2 years. Now there's a conversation that is built between father and daughter, that is Sarita and her father. Her father says that he has been hearing that Sarita has two children, a boy and a girl. So this itself states that Sarita's father has not visited her for the past 15 years. Sarita now gives information about her children. She tells that her daughter's name is Renuka and is called as Renu, and her son's name is Abhijit and is called as Abhi. Then her father inquires whether she knows about the death of her mother. She replies that she came to know about her mother's death through one of her patients named Manda. Manda had come to visit her one day along with her parents. Manda had informed Sarita that Sarita's mother had died of stomach cancer. When Sarita informed about this to her husband Manohar, Manohar asks her to keep quiet and also asks her to ignore it because she was not informed about her death. Now Sarita recalls her marriage life with Manohar. Sarita met Manohar when she stayed away from her parents when she was studying BSc. That was when Sarita met Manohar. At that point in life, Sarita was persuaded for love. Manohar at that point in life, he was studying his post-graduation and was a secretary in Literary Association. Sarita, after her BSc degree, she studied medicine. Even in her college, Sita was disliked by many, but Sarita wants to get the attention of Manohar. Both Manohar and Sarita stayed in Manohar's friend's house named Sridhar. Meanwhile, Sridhar had gone away to do his project work. Thereby, Sarita becomes pregnant. As a doctor, Sarita became famous, and wherever Manohar and Sarita go, people recognize her. They do greet her. Whenever they moved to a public place, Manohar felt neglected and depressed. This makes him to attack her rudely at nights to offend her pride and self-respect. At that point in Sarita's life, her teacher named Poozi, he taught her many things and also provided her with a consulting room. Now, as Sita is insulted and beaten by her own husband, she wants to reveal everything to her father. Reveal about her childbirth, reveal about her relationship and all that. She also feels that the same problem is faced by many Indian women. She then goes to see her mother admitted in Tata Hospital. Her mother was admitted there due to her cancer and she was taking her treatments there. Now Sarita recollects about her school days. She had two friends named Smita and Nalu, and they are thick friends. They three are called as Three Musketeers. Both Sarita and her friend Smita did not have a happy married life, but their friend Nalu, she remained unmarried. Sarita then happens to meet Padmakar, who is practicing in a slum. Padmakar invites her for coffee. There, when she talks to him, she identifies that Padmakar also ill-treats his wife. Her husband Manogar then plans to start a magazine with his friend Bindya. Eventually, Sarita identifies there is no decent income through journals, and so Manohar also joins as a lecturer in a private college. Sarita also remembers that after the death of her brother Dhruva, her birthday was never ever celebrated. Madhav, the boy who was studying accountancy, now leaves for his village. I mean, the boy who stayed in Sarita's father's house. Now, both Sarita's father and Sarita was left alone. He tells her that her mother had a misunderstanding that she was the reason for her brother's death. That is, her brother Dhruva's death. Again, Smita recollects that one day in the past, Smita, her friend, had called her to watch Rani of Jhansi movie, but Sarita's parents did not permit her. So Sarita got angry and left the house. Dhruva, her brother, also joins her. On the way to watch the movie, Sarita slipped and fell, but her mother came back after them and took only Dhruv back to their house. Eventually, Sarita also left to her home, and both the siblings, that is Sarita and Dhruv, have planned to go to another place. And this time, Dhruv took her to a place near pool where they played by throwing stones in the pool, and they also played with wet mud and enjoyed. Now Sarita wanted to watch the movie with the family, so she called Dhruv to return from the pool, but Dhruv refused to come with her. So Dhruv was left alone in the pool. Also, she left him alone thinking that he will follow her. Later, as Sarita passes by, she heard him calling her again and again, but when she went back, she found him fallen in the pool. She tried with her full strength to pull him out of the pool, but he was drowned. She tries to explain this to her father. Her father consoles her. Now, Sarita also tells about her husband Manohar to her father and tells him that Manohar is attacking her like an animal with his hands and teeth at night, but in the morning he becomes normal. She then receives a letter from her son stating that her husband Manohar wanted to bring her back. She does not have any interest to go back with her husband. She then packs her belongings to leave to an unknown destination. She also feels that she is being blamed for her brother's and mother's death and also for Manohar's failure. At this point, there was a knock at the door. Sarita thinks that it is Manohar who had come to pick her up, but the knock was done by a small child who says that his mother had fits and needs medical help. The little boy's name is Ravi and his mother's name is Mehta. Before leaving, Sarita tells her father that if Manohar comes and searches for Sarita, then she asks her father to ask him to wait. Sarita, as she treats the child's mother Smita, she forgives everything that happened in her life. With this, the novel ends. The novel is about the women's condition in a male dominated society and the problems faced by working women. So, in the title, we see the dark holds no terror. The dark represents the life of Sarita at night, because in the novel we came across that Manohar beats Sarita and ill treats her at night. So the dark in the title represents Sarita's life during nights, and the whole title, The Dark Has No Terror, represents that anyway, even if Sarita moves back with her husband, she knows that her life would be the same just like she had in the past, but she very well knows that she is not going to have the same darkness and she is not going to have the same terror that threatened her in the previous days. Let us have a short summarization of the novel. The novel The Dark Holds No Terrors is the story of a girl named Sarita. Sarita wants to find her inner self. Long time back in her past, Sarita still remembers her mother's bitter words. Her mother always utters that when she was a little girl, she was unable to save her younger brother, Dhruv, from drowning. In the present, Sarita's mother is dead and Sarita returns to her father's home after 15 years. As she returned to her father's house, she wanted to take care of her father. In her father's house, she feels that she wants to escape the nightmarish brutality. In her husband's house, her husband had imposed brutality on her every night. With the company of her father, Sarita wants to forget all her past grief. The novel reflects on the events of Sarita's life. Also, the novel talks about her small town where she had her childhood, her tyrannizing mother, and also the novel details about the marriage life of Sarita to the younger poet named Manohar. The novel also explores about Sarita's children, a boy and a girl named Renuka and Abhijit. Sarita in the novel tries to explain the brutality and the cruelty of her husband when he realizes that his career is going nowhere and that his wife has overtaken him professionally. So the novel victimizes the male chauvinism, portraying the struggle and emotion and anxiety of Sarita. At the end, Sarita gradually realizes that there is more in life than depending upon marriage, parents, and other social institutions. And in the end, we see that Sarita resolves to use her own newfound truths about her inner self. Deshpande, the author of The Dark Holds No Terror, has powerfully portrayed the women's fight to survive in a world that offers no easy outs. Through this novel, Deshpande has imparted that women is self-sufficient in all aspects. Hope this video helps. If you have query, please write it down below. And if you have any suggestion for discussion, please mention it down below. Thank you for listening.